Hello everyone, this is Chad from Untangle back with a couple of quick videos here for our new version 14 that's just released. So version 14 is a pretty major change for us. New OS kernel, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go through the changelog real quick. We'll cover this more deeply in a community webinar at a later date. But I wanted to jump over here real quick. I'm on wiki.untangle.com and I'm going to go into our changelogs and check the 14.0 changelog. So as you can see, this is a major release. Lots of infrastructure updates, usability fixes, things like that. I did mention there is a new OS and kernel. So we are now based on Debian 9, which is stretch, and the 4. Kernel for Linux Debian. This is a more modern OS and has systemd actually in a newer kernel. Just a bigger array of hardware compatibility, things like that. Systemd allows you to do a little more on the back end. So when you do upgrade to 14, you are going to be required to reboot. So we don't do that very often, but this is a new kernel, new OS, all that stuff. And I'll show you here in a later video, we do have a lot of improvements to our dashboard and our reports. So the dashboard itself got some really cool changes with global conditions, easier options for drilling down into a specific user's traffic, specific device, things like that. And we also added a lot of new functionality for sd-wan. One of the cool things we can do now is actually bind tunnel VPN connections to specific WANs. So this lets multiple tunnels for multi-WAN sites be set up, and then each tunnel is still using that actual WAN connection that you want them to use. So this is a really interesting solution for businesses with remote sites or schools with remote locations, things like that with individual WANs. We can still cover that now under SD-WAN and push them all through one centralized Untangle. Another aspect of the SD-WAN options is that our wireless interfaces on Untangle can actually be set up to be a client to a wireless access point now. So you can actually use a wireless interface as a WAN to something like a 4G hotspot for a backup connection. So we can actually fail over to something like a hotspot, a cell modem. So that's a very interesting aspect of our SD-WAN solution now. Untangle 14.0 does also have a new setup wizard. So the setup wizard's just got an updated layout. It's a little more responsive, and so we can quickly, more easily configure Untangle from a tablet, a phone, whatever you happen to be using remotely. Our Intrusion Prevention app has also gotten a lot of bug fixes and updates. As you can see here, it actually merges upstream signature updates now with existing conditions and configurations that the users have created. And it does it a little bit more gracefully than it used to. As you know, this is running Snort, which has become a pretty intense solution for intrusion prevention. There are close to 33,000 rules available in our intrusion prevention app. So this is something that does require a little bit of setup, a little bit of configuration, maybe even a little bit of research. I always recommend checking your intrusion prevention logged reports to see what's actually happening, what's getting logged, because we do log about 5,000–6,000 rules by default. And then some other little changes, just a lot of usability and bug fixes, just things like getting the navigation to go faster, pages to load quicker, the interfaces to be a little smoother, things like that. Our Amazon AWS build is now included with all releases going forward. So starting with 14.0, there will always be an Amazon AMI, an Amazon Machine Instance installation for AWS. We've also taken a look at a lot of issues that were affecting Safari users. Those have been addressed. And we do support a lot of new dynamic DNS providers like Google and Cloudflare. This is obviously going to help with SD-WAN and things like that. If you're using DNS, we have a lot of new options for that. And one of my favorite new tweaks is that the local Chrome on your console is killed automatically if it's left open for more than 12 hours. This was a good fix that came from our support team because they see that a lot. If you actually leave your Untangle VM open on the console, it can kind of break things sometimes. So now we actually close that little Chrome browser on the console after 12 hours automatically. So that's version 14 in a nutshell there, folks. You can see this again, as I mentioned, on wiki.untangle.com under the changelogs. If you just click right there on changelogs, you'll see that, and 14.0 is right at the top. So thanks for joining us. Check us out on some future videos. I'll have some more quick little short videos on new features for version 14. Thanks.